Hi, everyone. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit more about sales calls. So 3 reasons why your sales calls are not converting potential clients into actual clients. And if you are a coach, a consultant, a service provider, chances are you need to talk to people on the phone, by video, Skype, whatever it is for you, in order to be able to get them to buy your high-end premium programs or services. So if you are struggling, this is the topic for you. So who am I? I am Susan McVeigh, and I'm a business sales strategist helping female entrepreneurs close more sales with more ease without feeling sleazy, because you deserve to make the money and impact that you want and still live the life of freedom and flexibility that you desire. So sales calls are super critical and important piece of a high-end premium program providers arsenal, right? Like you have to make sales calls. Everything in your business, typically, especially in the beginning stages, are not going to be completely automated. And you are going to need to be the engine, the mechanism of sales in your business. So it is usually one of the ladder things that you're going to start to outsource in your business, because you need to get a feel for what it is that you can deliver, how it is that you're attracting people before you can start to automate some of the processes to not only generate leads for you, but ultimately to help you to feel confident in closing those sales for you on the other side. So here are 3 areas, the 3 key things that I feel, based on working with my clients and supporting so many women and students in the past, have been the critical areas that have been missed and areas of opportunity where if you can fix these, you will definitely increase your conversion rates and ultimately work with more clients without taking more time and effort and energy, which is what we all want, right? So let me just refer to my notes here. So number 1 is that you are not prepared. You're taking calls on the fly. You are not taking the time to perhaps get them to provide you with information, whether it's through an intake form, a questionnaire, even a chat that you're having back and forth through email or through Messenger or whatever is your preferred way to be able to connect with your people. You are not actually taking the time to connect the dots and to figure out how all these pieces work together so that you come across as an expert and that you're prepared for what it is that you actually think is going to be the best service for the person who is coming to you for help and guidance. Number 2 is that you are coaching. You're coaching on a sales call. Stop doing that, because the purpose of a sales call is to sell. And whether you call it a sales call or a discovery call, ultimately, you need to figure out what is the problem and can I help solve that problem for people. And if in fact you are actually solving part of the problem on a sales call, well, there's your problem right there, right? Because let's face it, you cannot possibly solve a problem in 20 minutes, in 30 minutes, heck, even a whole hour. There's only a small section that you're going to be able to get to, but it provides that person with the belief that, hey, you've just solved everything. You've solved world hunger, and I'm going to go on my merry way. So if you have been coaching on your sales calls, I need you to stop, because more than likely that one thing could be a game changer for you. And so what is the purpose of a sales call if then you're not going to be coaching, if you're not going to give them the answers? The whole purpose is to figure out whether or not they have a problem. So I need you to put on your detective's hat instead and start really uncovering and go deep, deep, deep. And a lot of my clients, they struggle with this because they realize, oh, I haven't been going deep enough. No, you probably haven't. So while it's not necessary, a lot of my clients, they get very emotional on the calls with me. They, depending on what's been going on for them, I've had people burst out into tears or, share very personal stories. So this is not unheard of and is something that might be uncomfortable for you, but I want you to start getting used to the idea that people, when they have that trust with you and that you are actually doing what you're required to do as the leader of this call, that they will start to open up to you in a much more meaningful way that is actually going to impact you and them and be able to get you to the yes before you actually even need to make an offer. So this is how you build that. So the purpose is for you to learn more about your ideal clients, right? That's why it's called a discovery call. You need to discover whether or not they have the problem that you can actually help solve. And if you can't, then let them go. So that's number 2. Number 3 is objections. Now, objections are not a bad thing. They are completely natural and they come up time and time again. So expect them. Like, expect people to say no and understand what is the number one reason why people would say no, so that you're prepared. And if you do this in a really well thought out way, and that goes back to number one, which is being prepared. If you've prepared not only because you understand your person, but you've prepared because you understand you and what you can offer, and you have that confidence within yourself, then really objections are just another opportunity for you to make sure that you've given them enough information that they feel confident about making the buying decision. Because that's ultimately what the whole process is, right? You're asking people to buy from you. You have already identified that they are coming to you because they need some help with something that they're struggling with. And if you've gone through the right process in a step-by-step situation where you actually are taking the time to make sure that they actually have a problem, then you have like full faith and full confidence in being able to make the offer that's the most appropriate for people. So there may be that last like, whoa, just wait, I don't know if I'm ready yet. So be prepared, because if it is a common objection that is coming up time and time again, well, you know what? And I'm going to say that the number one thing that most of my clients come to me with is because they're dealing with a pricing objection. It's that I can't afford it. You know what? I'd love to, but I don't know if this will fit into our budget right now, or we just spent a whole bunch of money on X, and so I'm not sure if I have anything left over for you. So all of these things are important, right? We do want to acknowledge them, but ultimately, if you are prepared and you know, okay, how can I make sure that I'm adding the value? How can I make sure that I've overcome these objections? How can I make sure that I'm literally holding my person's hand as they're getting ready to say yes to not only you as the coach or consultant or strategist, but ultimately to themselves, because that's really what it comes down to. They're scared to say yes and give themselves an opportunity to create change in their life, because change is really scary, right? Change is scary for most of us as human beings. Our natural instinct is the status quo, to remain safe and compliant and to do things that are comfortable for us. Well, doing things that aren't comfortable is what's required when we ask them to say yes to our products or services. And we are also ultimately asking them to spend money. Sometimes it can be a lot of money. And so if you don't feel confident that your value is there, that your worth is there, that your expertise is there, and that you actually can help this person 1,000%, then you're not going to be able to overcome the objections properly. And that's really number 3, right? So what I want you to think about is, because a lot of times when clients come to me, they say, well, I really don't feel comfortable, helping people to move through the objection. Like, I feel really pushy, or who am I to ask these questions? Here's the thing. When you're coaching individuals in your one-on-one programs, because I know most of you, this is what is happening. Are you going to let them off the hook when they don't do what's required, when things get really tough? Because your discovery call, your sales call, is an example of how they're going to be treated in working with you. And if you're going to consistently let them off the hook by saying, oh yeah, okay, that's fine. Like, I take it at face value. Sure, maybe you don't have enough money. That's fine. Thanks for letting me know. How are you possibly going to be able to coach them when they're coming up with something that's brand new for them, that they're scared to do, that they don't know how to do, or that they're having a tough moment in their life, their relationships, their health, whatever is the focus that you're helping them with? So that's what I want you to think about, because when you're not able to show up as a leader on these sales calls, when you're not able to guide people and encourage them and support them and help them to understand that what they're feeling is normal, but that if it's something that they desperately want, which they've already kind of given you a clue, right? By putting up their hand to say, I'm going to spend time on this call with you. So as long as the expectations are clear at the outset of the call, and you understand that this is the whole purpose of the call, is for you to figure out whether or not I can help you and if we're going to work together. By the end of the call, when objections come up, I don't want you to feel like, oh my God, the dreaded objection. It's going to be a natural piece of this process. I have in my past said to people, you know what, I'm going to guess that there's a couple of things that are going to come up for you. One of which might be, price and making sure that this fits within your budget. Maybe there's another decision maker that needs to be involved in this buying process with you. Is there somebody else? So these are the things that you want to think about, because when you have these objections, you have to be prepared. You have to be able to lead. You have to be able to guide them and be able to stand as the leader in your own business, because your sales call is the very first opportunity for people to get a taste of what it's like to start working with you. And so think about that as you're positioning yourself. Think about that as you're executing on these sales calls. And if this is an area where you need some additional help and support, feel free to go ahead and comment yes. For those of you that are on replay, thank you so much. And those of you that were on live, thank you so much for watching me, because I know that time is our very most precious resource. And I do appreciate you taking the time to spend with me. If you want more access to resources like this, please feel free to head on over to my website, www.susanmcveigh.com, or comment yes below, and we can continue this conversation and see how I may be able to point you in the right direction with some help or resources or other things that might be able to get you going. Okay, thank you so much, and we will talk to you soon.